sometimes we don't know what to say, right? Like I know Toastmaster Bita had given me a warning saying that, okay, I'm going to fire off in Malayalam. I'm going to fire off with your introduction in Malayalam. I don't know how it's going to be. Well, you did make me speechless. Thank you everyone for your honor. Thank you for inviting me. I would continue with the training in English because when I speak in Malayalam, it becomes very informal. And I do not know, like every time and every one of you speak, I am shocked. It feels so good because I have a feeling like I've gone back to India. When I say India, for me, it's basically Kerala. So it feels like I've gone back home listening to all of you speak in Malayalam and every sense of belonging. You know, you feel like you're amongst your homies and it feels really good to be in Bhavan's Toastmasters Club, Bhavan's Malayalam Toastmasters Club for that. So let's go ahead with our training and I want to share my slides if it's possible. So what I plan to do with the training, it's going to be a very hands-on workshop, okay? Karnam, there's no point in doing a training and just listening to someone speak and going out. If it doesn't benefit anybody, if it has to benefit somebody, it has to be a hands-on workshop. There is no other way that it will benefit. So either I think the best way to do it is to use your chat box. Every time we ask something, use your chat box to reply. So you know how it is, right? When you give especially when you give talks on online, you feel like you're talking to a computer. You don't see anybody. Nobody's responding. So let's start. Now, what exactly is a table topic skill? Like Toastmaster Beta Johnson has rightfully explained to us, it's something we do every single day. Every single day. Whether you're at home, whether you're at work, like just imagine a simple thing. You're going out and someone asks you, where are you going? Or like, oh, all done for the day? Even that is a table topic skill. You can say, yeah, I'm done, bye. Or you can say, yeah, I had an amazing day. How was yours? You know, that's how you complete the conversation. So even though it sounds something very simple, table topics is a skill that's included in every activity of your life, every moment of your life. The best part was my husband always used to tell me that I speak too much. And he used to tell me, and I was like, well, I'm ready to take it anyway that it goes. And fortunately, I landed up amongst Toastmasters. So Vijo had been with me initially as a Toastmaster for a few months. And then he's like, no, this is your field. I'm leaving you amongst people like you who are crazy to speak. So table topics, I want to tell you, is not just for people who are crazy to speak. It's also for the introverts. It's also for people who do not like to be very social and only like to speak when you're asked for. So let's see how the entire training is going to go. So by the end of the training, we're going to focus on 4 different aspects. One, we're going to understand content creation, delivery style, picking your own style, and then how are you going to prepare, you individually as a person going to prepare. So when we start our training, have you seen the table topics ballot? You know, there's a judge's ballot, right? Sorry, 1 second. I just want to make sure I keep my chat box open so I can see if anybody chats. So you know that every contest has a judging ballot. Similarly, have you seen the table topics ballot? Okay. Participants more. Yeah, can you tell me what are the 2 main, in the chat box, can any of you tell me what are the 2 main categories that are mentioned in a judging ballot for table topics? Basically, if you sum it up, what is there? What is it if you sum it up? Come on, you can give it a try. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. You just give it a try, that's all. Chat box. Okay, I guess everyone's a bit confused. Okay, so let me tell you what it is. I just want to make sure that everyone's here. I am being audible, right?
Yes, you are audible. Yes,
okay, perfect. No problem. So there are 2 main categories that judges look for. Mainly 2 main categories. One is content creation and the second one is delivery skills. So this is what makes or breaks you basically. So if you look at the rest of the presentation, sorry, I'm just hanging on because I'm trying to figure out where I am in between this. Okay, cool. Content creation. It's all about using or saying the right words at the right time. Again, when you try and think about speaking, there are two ways in which you speak. You know, when I was in college, was one of a pretty good friend of mine. She's a very good friend of mine. So everybody thought that she spoke English very, very well. And the reason was she used to speak with complicated jargons. So for basically, especially from our part of the country, from Kerala, we always feel that people who use complicated words to frame complicated sentences using difficult jargons actually speak good English, and that they should be, the epitome of people who we should look up to. But for me personally, I feel that's not true, because if what you say has to get into somebody's heart or even their head, it has to be simple. So I always start with this quote when it comes to content creation by saying that one day I will find the right words and they will be simple. Let me give you a little example if you want to take it. So if you're going to say something like, you went for a party and you want to thank somebody after when you're leaving the party, or someone did something for you and you want to say thank you. So which one would be better, option one or option two? I'm going to give you option one. Okay, option one would be something like, thank you for gracefully inviting me to the party. I had a fun time. You have a great day. Do you think speaking like that would be good? Like you're informal with this person, okay? You're in an informal setting. Or do you think saying something like, I'm truly honored that you called me for the party. I really loved the way in which you set things up and the efforts that you took. It truly meant a lot to me. Thank you. So which one do you think? Whether it be an informal meeting, formal, or a informal one? Second one. Yes, exactly. Second one. So what difference do you find in the second one? What is it that makes the second one different? It's the simplicity of your language. It's the same thing that you said. Thank you for graciously inviting to the party. There was the first one. Second one, you're just adding a sentence more, or you're making it more simple. Yes, it's more direct. It becomes more direct to a person. And it's like, it truly meant a lot to me. Thank you for inviting me. It truly meant a lot to me. I really appreciate what you did. It becomes more personal. It becomes more direct. It becomes more simple. And so it will strike people. That is the number one tip that you need to follow. Make your speech simple. Don't try to take complicated words and fill in for your content. Make it simple, make it direct, make it personal when you speak. So like every other speech, even like a prepared speech, a table topic speech also has a particular pattern: an opening, a body, and a conclusion. Now, I know that you might feel like a table topic speech is not a prepared speech, but in a Toastmasters context, you can prepare for a table topic speech. By the end of the training, you will learn how to prepare and how you can be well prepared for the contest that's coming ahead. Yeah. So for opening, there are different ways to do the opening. Whatever the topic is, you can approach it in your own style. One tip that I always tell everybody is that do not try to copy anybody. Like some person might have won a particular year because of a particular style. That doesn't mean that is the style that wins. No, it just means that what that person did at that particular point of time was the best amongst all those who contested. That's all. So you have to create your own style. And by the end of the training, this is what I'm looking forward to, that each of you figure out what your style is. So when you hear a topic, I'll take the topic itself that I did during my winning speech, the same topic. So the topic was legendary leaders leave behind long-lasting legacies. So I'll repeat it once again. Legendary leaders leave behind long-lasting legacies. So for this, if you want, I have written over here, if you see the slide, there's catchy phrases, personal stories, quote, and questions. If you're trying to start catchy phrases, what would be a nice way to start? I'll give you an example. Catchy phrases. No, don't do it, he said. So that's that, probably that could be a personal story. Okay, that would fall under personal story. Something like, no, don't do it, he said. I was shocked. I didn't know what he was talking about. But I waited and I watched. So, here I'm getting into a personal story. I opened like this. This is an example of a personal story opening. Question style would be like, um, why is it that only legendary leaders leave long-lasting legacies? A question. You start with a question. A similar quote to long-lasting legacies are, great leaders are not born, they are made, said someone, and then you continue into the speech. A catchy phrases would be like, I can't find a catchy phrase to connect with the leaders or legendary. Can somebody help me there if you have a catchy phrase that you can start with? A catchy phrase, basically, it's not a quote, but it's a phrase. It's similar to a quote. It's not a quote, it's a phrase. If you cannot track something down, it's okay, but you kind of understand the context, right? So any of this could be an opening. One suggestion that I would give is, how people repeat the quote. When you hear a quote during the scene, you repeat it and you're like, legendary leaders leave behind long-lasting legacies. That's what a wonderful topic. Do not start that way. We all heard the topic twice. We don't want to hear the topic thrice. Now, we will all know that it's a trick that you're doing to remember the topic. You're just trying to remember the topic. You're not trying to tell us the topic, This is how somebody else or an audience would probably think. Again, would. This is how I would think. So I think this is how most people would think. I don't know. But do not reiterate the topic, because it's very clear that you are buying time. So winners don't do different things. They do things differently. That can be a catchy phrase too. You're right. Yes. So avoid repeating that. Just get into whatever it is. Now, there's always questions regarding how long can we wait before we start speaking. So technically, maybe about 10 seconds or so, they would say, Toastmasters would say it's okay. But I would suggest that you start speaking immediately when you hear the topic. Now, if you want to buy 2 to 3 seconds, what you can do is look and smile at the audience. But always remember that the timer will start the timings immediately at your verbal or non-verbal clue. Smile is a non-verbal cue. So the moment you look at the audience and smile, they can start the timer. I'm someone who plays drastically, at the edge of the timing levels. People who attended the contest where I was will know what I'm talking about. So don't do that. Just make sure you start immediately, or remember that if you're going to smile, you'll already be timed for it. So the opening is clear, right? Let's move to the body. Now, a body is where you drill in your story. Whatever style you start in, you should have at least 2 to 3, a maximum of 2 to 3, because if you go beyond that, it would be too much. So you should have 2 to 3 points that you can build on as a story in the body, and then you keep reiterating the same theme. So how I started for my contest, when he said legendary leaders leave behind long-lasting legacies, I started with saying, I first looked at everybody and smiled and said, everybody has memories with your grandparents. Most of you from Kuwait know that I've been raised by my grandparents right from when I was 6 months old until I was 6 years old. I didn't know who my parents were. I thought my grandparents were my parents. My grandpa had instilled in me these 3 C's: courage, confidence, and compassion. So this was my body. So my body at that point of time, I had used a personal story. Now, the topic that I had gotten was a legendary leader. I could either connect it with something done, or I could go to a Toastmaster. I said, courage, confidence and compassion. So for courage is how I said is every time I stood up and said no when someone treated me wrong, or every time that I stood up for another, I practiced confidence. I practiced courage. And this is the first. Explain the story about the next. Every time I would say, this was the second scene. This was the one thing. She is on topic. She's on topic. She knows what she's talking about. So it plays through two ways. Thirdly, it also plays indirectly in your own head because you're constantly repeating the topic to yourself or constantly repeating vital words from the topic that reminds you to stay on the topic. Now the conclusion. This is very, very, very important. You know how in evaluation, mostly people say, you must conclude right, you must summarize. The same goes for table topics. You must summarize. You must summarize and bring people back. Again, for this one, how I summarized is that I said, then towards my summary, I said, we all have legendary leaders who've played roles in our lives and who have touched us and left long lasting legacies in our life in one way or the other. Like I had my grandpa, I'm sure you all have too. You must have had amazing personalities from the world, or even your next door neighbor, or even your boss. But my grandpa, who is my legendary leader, left behind the legacy of courage, compassion, and confidence. So this was how I ended. So I summarized everything that I had said the opening. And once you figure out, once you see a consistent pattern of your style, right? Keep practicing with that style. Conscious effort and just see what I'm listening with a lot of. Now, the second part is your delivery skill, right? So it doesn't matter what you say, but how you say it. We've all heard about vocal variety and body language. Now we'll quickly, just very quickly go to body language. And in body language, we'll only cover what we would be doing online. Yeah. Once the competitions turn back to our physical and on stage, then we go to that. So the utmost form of respect is to give sincerely of your presence. So you know how we've been in school and colleges, and when teachers take sessions, sometimes we sit with arms crossed. So when we listen to somebody, we have our arms crossed and we listen. And we've heard people say that don't have your arms crossed. It shows that you're closed, you're not accepting. All this is true. It's a form of reading your body. It's not basically not that you're accepting, it's that you're skeptical about what's being heard. Similarly, every part of your body and the way you maintain it and keep it sends out a message. Now, sometimes in rare cases, the message that you want to send out is not what is being portrayed, because sometimes you don't mean anything. This is just your style. You just stand this way. It's just my style. But what message is it sending out? Is that the message that you want to send out to audience? That's why body language is very, very important, because you want people to get the message that you want to send out, not what they perceive, but what you want to send out. So for body language, there are three basic types that you say. There's a positive and negative body language. There's extrovertism and introvertism. It's an open and a closed body language. So each of your body part has different connotations with regard to positive, extrovertism, opens and closed. So yeah, positive and confident. That's right. So how do you show this positive and confident nature in your speech is first your eye contact. Now, when we say eye contact, you're like, I'm on a virtual screen. How can I ensure eye contact? Well, you can. I don't know if now it looks like I am looking at you. I hope so. Does it look like I am looking at you? Is it? Yes, no? Okay, it does look like I'm looking at you. So what you can do is, because it's an online thing and you need to seeing yourself as well, you look at yourself, make sure you're smiling throughout, because this is a practice for me too. I hardly smile. I don't write there. So it gives them an impression that you are self-taught. You're like, okay, smile, because you have to smile now. People eye contact to the front or too much to the backward, and you need to set. Another question that most people used to ask me during workshops is that, which is the best way? You want to move it backwards and you want to stand up. Should we be standing up and showing our full body, or do we sit and half body? Like, not until how much I'm showing. The reason why I'm sitting this way is because I want the light to be good. That's the only reason. But if we are sitting, oh, thank you so much for your comments. I apologize. My daughter's right outside the door. She's just 1 year old. So she has this thing. If she hears I'm speaking to somebody, you know this age, right? So hopefully they'll take her away right now. Yes, where were we? Back. So the best way to do it is, if you feel that you want people to see you speak full-fledged, start that way. But when you practice in a way where you can zoom in and zoom out. One tip during online meetings is, when you come for important points, zoom in and talk to them directly. And when you finish, zoom back. It's not the zoom, not just the zoom app, but zoom your body in and out as well. So if you want to, you can definitely stand and speak, but don't be too far, because if you're too far, what happens? If you focus on your whole body being out, what happens? If you stand up and far away and talk, what happens? I mean, if you want your whole body to be seen, what is that one thing that would be a drawback? What would you say is the drawback? We can't see what? Yes, you can't see, but you can't see what? What is it that you can't see? Exactly, the expressions, facial expressions. If you don't have this, you have nothing. No matter how you move your hands and legs or your whole body, or even if you do the whole Bharatanatyam Kuchipudi there, no one's going to see it. You must express facially. Facially, okay. Must express. And how you can do it is by moving in between. So practice your body language in a way that it works. Now, if your whole body is going to be visible, there's a lot more that we need to cover. That is, your shoulders not through back to the front. Every action that you're showing has to be open. Until and unless you want to show in options like I'm upset, I'm scared, you don't move your hands inwards, everything else has to be outward. And then again, your elbows do not touch part of your body. I think I might have to show it here. Yeah, so your elbows, when you talk, when you're showing actions, your elbows should not be like this when you talk. If you want to put your hands out, your elbows should not be touching your body. It should be outward. That's how you show that you are open and confident and extrovert and an extrovert when you're trying to speak. Now, when it comes down with your legs, how do you place your legs? You place your legs a little apart from each other. If this is your leg, because I can't focus on my leg right now. So if your legs are this way, you place it parallel to your shoulders, not to any other context, parallel to your shoulder. Now, how do you know that it's parallel to your shoulders? Imagine these are your legs. Left leg, okay, left leg, right leg. So any leg, just keep it this way, and then you just lift and place. What you place will be exactly parallel to your shoulders. Try it when you have time. It's a trick. It's a trick I teach my children at the pitch club. All right, so we've covered body language with delivery. Now we'll go to vocal variety. Now, the fun part of vocal variety is, we must have heard in a lot of evaluations where people constantly tell us, maybe your vocal variety had to be a bit better. Next time somebody tells you that, ask them, yeah, sure, no problem. But what exactly vocal variety do you want me to change? Because vocal variety is not just about how loud you speak or how low you speak. There's a lot of things in there. And today we will run over quickly, just a few of them quickly, because most of you are stalwarts here in this club. And I don't think you all need a detailed one. So volume, we'll go to the first one, that's volume. Volume basically means just volume. When you want to talk about things like, she shouted at the loud noise. Why did you do that? And then when you want to speak softly, and I'm sure whoever has been sleeping in between would have been startled right now. It gives me immense pleasure. Just thinking of how some of you must have fallen off your chair when I said it. And then when it comes to a lower volume, when she whispered in the softest voice possible. So you see how increasing and decreasing will have its effect. So volume is basically volume. Pitch is how you stretch, how do I say it? Higher pitch and a lower pitch. It's basically the same thing. For example, she screamed in the loudest voice possible while he spoke in a deadly tone. So that is also the pitch. You're increasing the bass and the treble. For those who knows music, you understand when you say the bass and the treble. Be moderate. I don't really understand Toastmasters ethically. What you meant by moderate, is it to the pitch or to the other one? Is it to the pitch? Okay, until he replies to that, the pitch. You normally speak in a moderate tone, yes, but when you need to express certain things, when you have something that requires a higher pitch, you go to the higher pitch. When it requires a lower pitch, you go to the lower pitch. Otherwise, you maintain a lower one, moderate one, but make sure that it doesn't go monotonous, because if it goes monotonous, then people lose it. Now the pace basically means how fast you can speak and how slow you can speak. So when you're talking about something that is exciting, exactly the speed at which you speak. So when you're talking about something that's exciting, you have to increase the speed. Just think about your normal life, okay? You just come home and like, what happened? This happened. I went out and I saw this person and I said hi and hi and hi. So you see how the pace increases when there is excitement, and when the pace decreases when it is required. So make sure that whatever you speak has the right pace. For example, you can say something like, the car moved swiftly, while the turtle, he crawled slowly. Now that slowly, the whole sentence was in a slower pace. At the same time, the slowly was stretched. Do you know what that stretching of a word to increase the meaning of a word is called? Okay, it's called resonance. So a couple of reasons. Okay, let's try out this one. Again, I'm going to give you option 1 and option 2, and then you tell me which one is more, according to you, which one is more meaningful, or which one has a more of an effect. I'm talking about someone who was, who went crazily bizarre in between a conversation. She went crazy as in someone started yelling at the top of her voice. Just an example. When I say this, I don't know why in the world I remember my boss when I speak about someone yelling at the top of her voice and crazy. I hope she's not in here. Hopefully not. Okay. So resonance, which one would be more meaningful to you? Which one has more effect? Option 1 would be like, she was crazy. Or option 2, she was crazy. Which one? Option 1 or 2? Option 2. Yeah, option 2 is more effective. The reason is because that word crazy was stretched to give the effect, and that effect is called resonance. Another word, that is one for resonance. Now emphasis. At the same time, I also used emphasis on the word. Let's take this, okay? A simple sentence called you. Simple sentence. You are a winner. So just see how I'm going to say it. You are a winner. There was emphasis on you. So the meaning changed and the focus came on you. Now you are a winner. So the emphasis is on are, which means no matter what season, you are a winner. You are. There is nothing else, because you are a winner. Then the third one, you are a winner. which means the focus is on a winner. They're focusing. It's a winner. You're a winner. So you see how the focus changes from you as a person to R as a time frame, winner, and the winner as a condition. So you are a winner. That's how you can change emphasis on something. Take a simple sentence and try changing the emphasis. A quick question, just to see if you're all in line along with me. Bhavan's is a very aspiring club. Where's the emphasis? Where did I put the emphasis on? Bhavan's is a very aspiring club. Where was the emphasis? Try it. Doesn't matter if it comes wrong. Just give it a try. Okay, I did put emphasis on very too. Bhavan's was where I intended to put the emphasis on. That's why I was thinking, did I? So maybe I came across wrong in Toastmaster Sadik. Maybe I came across wrong, but my intention was to put it on Bhavan's. Now let's try it once again. Bhavan's is a very aspiring club. Where was the emphasis? Bhavan's is a very aspiring club. Aspiring, bravo, there you all go. So that aspiring is our focus on. So similarly, when you say a sentence, make sure that the message that you want to put across, that particular word is always emphasized across. I know it sounds very technical, but it's not too late. You still have time to practice. When you practice certain words that you want to send across and emphasize it. Reiteration is when you repeat a word twice, repeat a word or a phrase twice. For example, it was very, very cold. It was very cold, or it was very, very cold. You say very twice. Though if you put it up on word, it shows an error. But when you start speaking, a very, very puts a lot of importance into what you're saying. It increases the meaning of the word doublefold. Now pause. Pause is my greatest strength. Using pauses can make or break your speech. Put pauses in the right way. Now, one thing that I have noticed with a lot of people is that we usually have a tone that we don't notice. For some people, they put pauses after 3 or 4 words. For some people, they put pauses after 2 words. For example, like our politicians for the matter. I can't get his name. I'm not really good with politics, but who is the Chief Minister of Kerala? Or Chief Minister. He has a particular tone. Chief Minister, yeah. The guy, I'm really sorry. Like, I don't even know whether you all like him, but yes, Pinarayi Vijayan, yes, him. He has a tone, right? You've noticed he has a tone. He pauses at every certain, I think, 2 words or something, or 3 words or something. If you're not into politics, who else can I refer to? I can try to give an example. This is the very tone that I would like to speak in. So if you see it after 2 words, I'm putting a Shashi Tharoor. Shashi Tharoor, I think, is an amazing speaker. I don't find any pause problems with Shashi Tharoor. I really like the guy. I'm mentioning the wrong guy, I guess. Yeah, so by the way, I have not noticed if Dr. Shashi Tharoor has any pause differences, but since you said it today, I'm going to specifically listen to it. I'm going to see if there's anything wrong with his pauses, because if you say so, then definitely there should be particular pauses issues there. So yeah, I will pay attention to it from now. So pauses again. So let's go back once again to sum up our delivery styles. Delivery, body language, and vocal variety. Body language, positive, negative, extroverted, introvert, open and closed. We need to make sure we are positive, extrovertism, and open in everything that we speak. Vocal variety, let's practice volume, pitch, pace, resonance, emphasis, reiteration, and pause. Now, personalizing your style, which is very, very important again. This is something that I reiterate in every workshop of mine. Okay? You need to always be a first version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else. Everybody else is always taken. There is no right or wrong way to actually speak. Actually speak or put forward table topics. There's no right or wrong way. What is the right or wrong way is what you set forth. What I speak, the way I speak is not the way you speak. And the way you speak is not the way I speak. That doesn't mean mine is right or it doesn't mean yours is right. We always need to find our own styles. And this is what I encourage everyone to do in every workshop. Just because someone became the world champion of public speaking this year, that doesn't mean that you have to imitate the style to become the WCPS next year. That's not how it works. It just means in you being unique. So how do you pick your style? There are different styles of speaking. And again, like I said, how do you know your style? Record yourself with those 4 to 5 speeches, play them back again and again, listen to it, then you will figure out what your style is. Just like how we had a style for introduction, you always have a style for the whole thing. Now, some people like to say, long back in 1999, this is what happened. And then I came to so and so and so, and this is what happened. And then we moved on to the present era, and this is what happened. And then to sum it all up, so this time, and this time, this is what I learned. That is a graduating time. So you're graduating from a previous point of time to a present point of time. Again, the second style is before and after. Before, this is what happened, but now this is how things are moving on. So you can use that style too. Quotes, like I said, you can always use an alternate quote right when you start, or you can use another quote and reiterate that quote throughout your speech. Another very interesting way, which a lot of people take, is against the topic. So think about a topic, something like money is not what matters is a topic. If you want to speak against the topic, you can have different ways. If it was me, I would be like, who said so? In a world that's ruled by money, and in a world where people who are rich set criteria and rules for the rest of the world to follow, I think money is what matters. And therefore, I strongly disagree against your topic. That's how you can do against the topic. Now, when you go against the topic, there is a lot of things that can work in your favor and against your favor too. In your favor is that all of a sudden you catch people's attention. You're like, okay, till now everybody was saying money is not everything. Everybody was agreeing. Now here comes someone who says, who's going completely against the topic. Well, maybe she's someone I should listen to. And judges will also be like, oh, okay, there's someone speaking something different, time to listen to it. At the same time, the negative that you might have to face is that everybody is going to be paying attention to your speech, right from your first word that drops out of your mouth until the last word. So you need to really, really figure out what to say if you go against the topic, because you are going against the flow. And trust me, people who go against the flow don't have a smooth ride. They have a bumpy ride, but it's worth it. Trust me, I know. I always go against that ride. Not with regards to the topic in my basic life as well. So well, you have to be ready for the bumpy ride. So if you're ready to take it, go against the topic. And next one is emotional ride or humorous sadness. Now, everybody has different styles, right? Some people are amazing humorous speakers. Some are amazing inspirational speakers. So you need to see what your style is. If the humorous speaker is your style, by all means, go ahead and do humorous style for your table topics. But make sure those important points that you're putting in, you change your tone and you put it that way. So you can use any of the styles going forward, but you just have to figure out what your style is. And to figure it out, there is no way that anybody else can help you. You yourself, take a few topics, record yourself. At the end of this, figure out, try to balance, try to see what style have you followed. Is it humorous? Is it graduating? Is it a before after? Is it quotes, or am I going against the topic? Or you might have 2 styles. You can even practice 2 styles, but do not go more than that when you practice, because it's going to get you confused. And when you're there at that moment on the stage, or when you're there in the spot, there'll be a lot of things that will be playing in your head. So if you know that this is the style, that's a good way to get prepared. Now, again, this is how you connect with people. This is just a quick quadrant. So either you entertain, you inspire, you inform, or you be direct. So this usually happens when I have a workshop where people practice the speech and I give them a chance to perform. I don't know if we will be able to do that today. So that's when I tell them where they fall, where you fall into an entertaining. So basically, like, you see how you take, it's a self-centered topic. If it's an audience-centered topic and high emotional topic, then you have to go for inspirational, things like that. I'll share the slide with you later, because this is not something we need to discuss right now. All right, now to end the whole thing, to summarize my whole presentation, there are 7 tips that I would give you. One is to check the age group of an audience. So when you're going for a contest, who's going to be there. Mostly it's going to be Toastmasters. Now, and you have to analyze, this is something that you can do only when you see them visually. but still I'm sharing it with you. Analyze the experience, see how, how long have they been, what are they sort of experience, are they children? Basically, you think like, are they more of teenagers or are they more of married people? Are they in their midlife stages or are they senior people? What can they relate with? What can the audience basically? I said go with family. Everyone can relate to family. Fourth, the topic self reminders, which reminds the crowd.